So this is Geometry, Semester 1. It's the 5th unit called Pythagorean Theorem. 5th unit called Pythagorean Theorem. It's the 4th lesson, Slope Triangles, Slope of Parallel and Perpendicular Lines. Practice, it's on creatormath.com under the Geometry tab. You might have to Google creatormath.weebly.com to find this. The instructions are copy the following problems into your composition book on the correct pages, according to the table of contents with the notes for those pages from creatormath.com. So before we get into the problem sets, let's go back and help make sure that you know where the notes are. Here we go. Focus up. So, okay, maybe not. Here we go. Here's the site, creatormath.weebly.com. Here's what the home page looks like. And again, if you don't know where the composition book instructions are, they're all on this home page. Just scroll down from here and look at where it starts to say composition book. Follow all those directions and all those videos. If you don't have 100% on your comp book, you can after you watch those if you go and do it. We're doing geometry. All of the notes, the videos, the problem sets, the vocabulary is all under the tab for the class that we're in. So we're under the geometry tab now. This is the PDF with all the vocabulary for the entire year. If you're not getting 100% on your vocabulary practices, please open this and learn how to search it. Just Google it if you don't know how to search a PDF. Let's go to the proper semester here. For this lesson, we're in semester 1. Here's the table of contents. This should have all been written in full on pages 2 through 6 of your composition book. If you haven't done it already, please stop the video and do it now. This is table of contents. We're going to scroll down to the unit we're in. Pythagorean Theorem. Here's the lesson we're in, number 4, slope triangles, slope of parallel and perpendicular lines. Here's the page numbers it goes on. These notes go on in your comp book. Please don't look at this video for the actual page numbers, but go to the actual table of contents like I'm looking at here. You're going to click Notes. I do sometimes have to open it twice. In this case it opened. I can expand it and I can start to copy these notes directly into my comp book. Alright, let's go through them briefly. What is slope? Rise over run. It's also y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. It's also delta y over delta x. Delta means change in. So the change in y is what you get when you subtract y2 minus y1. You get the difference, the change in y. And change in x would be x2 minus x1 is what this means. So here's an explanation of slope, and here is a slope triangle. Here's rise over run. We rose 1, we ran 2, right? So we rose 1, ran 2, and here's a triangle that's 90 degrees, a right triangle, and that's part of the distance formula. Now we're looking at slope. Here's a slope triangle. Here's 2 coordinate locations using y2 minus y1 and x2 minus x1. Over x2 minus x1, we can come up with 3/5. Please copy these in. The difference between slope and slope triangles is that the slope can be negative. Slope triangles cannot be negative. Okay, so that's an understanding of slope triangles versus slope. We'll see that in some of the problems. Find the slope triangle. So here we have a triangle, right? We're 3,000 feet from right underneath this airplane, and this airplane is 2,000 feet up in the sky. We're wondering how far we are from the airplane, and or we're just trying to come up with a slope triangle. 2/3. So the rise is 2, the run is 3. We don't have a direction on a slope triangle, and that's what the negative does. The negatives and reduced, no negatives and reduced to the lowest form. Okay, pretty good. Here's vocabulary slope. Absolute value, the distance from 0 on the number line, and therefore positive. Slope triangle, rise over run, with no negatives and reduced to the simplest form. Altitude is perpendicular height. Altitude of an airplane is perpendicular height. Notice the 90-degree angle between the base, or the earth, and the line going straight up to the airplane. Here's problems you're going to put into your comp book. And with that, let's look at the problem sets they give us. So, number 1. What is the definition of slope? More than one answer may apply. It's rise over run, you guys. It's y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. And it's delta y, the change in y, over or divided by the change in x. It's all three of those answers. And look at the notes to see that and go back in your learning. Probably this is not the first time you're seeing slope. I'm going to assume it went way back into middle school for you, all right? So what is the definition of a slope triangle? The same as slope, except there's no such thing as a negative slope triangle. Rise over run, including negative. Negative 1/2. So I see what they're doing here. They're trying to emphasize the idea that our slope triangle does not have a direction to it. Slope triangle does not have a direction like actual slope does. So this is what they're going for a slope triangle. All right, given the following graphic, what is the slope triangle? More than one answer may apply. So we're just going to do rise over run without the negative. So this is a rise right here, and this is a run right here, right? This is 1 unit, and this is 2 units, so I think it's 1/2. I think it's this right here. Rise over run, no negative. Okay, fine. Rise over run including negative, no. And negative 1/2, no. So these two answers, it's 1/2. And notice, we could have picked any 2 points. We could have gone here. Rise would be 1. Rise would be 1. Run would be 2. Same thing. That's the way slope works. It keeps repeating at the junctures in the grid so we can calculate it, right? It's hard to calculate slope between here and here because I don't know what's going on in those points. I don't know where this is and where this is. But here I can see it lines right up with 1. Fair enough? And I hope this resonates with your prior understanding of slope and just sort of gets the idea that we're drawing a triangle in and we're finding rise over run for that triangle. Given the following graphic, what is the slope triangle? More than one answer may apply. So let's take 2 points. This crosses here and here. And let's count them. 1, 2, 3. This is 3 and this is 3. So we have 3 over 3, but remember the rule. It can't be negative and we do want to reduce it. Isn't this 1? So this is 1. And it's rise over run with no negative. It's this one's out and this one's out, right? 2 answers. And we could have done it here, right? We could have gone 1 and 1. Fair enough. All right, so given the following graphic, what's the slope? Rise over, let's see. Let's take 2 points. So here's a point and an intersection. Here's a point. Rise is 3, run is 1. Okay, it's exactly right like the prior. What am I missing? Oh, 3 over 3, sorry. The prior was 3 over 3 equals 1. Is that what it is? Oh, duh, you guys, look. So they switched it up on me. Now they're saying, what is the slope? So it's the same line as before. What is rise? Rise is 1. What is run? Run is, so let's go from here. Let's go down 1, so minus 1, run 1. So minus 1 is it's going down, and it's going 1 to the right. So this equals minus 1 is the slope. All right? So rise over run, including negative. That's the slope, and negative 1. 2 answers. I see what they're doing. They're trying to emphasize the slope triangle issue. Given the following given the following graphic, what is the slope triangle? Well, here it is here. The slope triangle now. This is 2,000 is rise. Run is 3,000. Simplify it. Get rid of all the zeros. We got 2/3, and there's no negatives. 2/3, rise over run, no negative. Okay, match up the titles so that you make sure the problem set you're working on matches the video you're watching. This is Geometry, Semester 1. It's the 5th unit called Pythagorean Theorem, and the 4th lesson called Slope Triangles, Slope of Parallel and Perpendicular Lines, Practice. Interesting, I didn't see any problems on parallel and perpendicular lines there. It's on creatormath.com under the Geometry tab. Maybe we'll go back and add those later, okay? Hope this helps.